Chitin Gravestalker from Aether Drift is everywhere, and today we're playing an Pauper Rakdos Dredge. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is Pauper Rakdos Dredge, and I'm thrilled to play it for you today. But before we get into that, I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, the Upstate New York Pauper Play Discord. If you're looking to play Pauper in New York State, there's no better way to do so than joining this Discord to play it in paper. You'll find others like you that are looking to have a great time. You can join by clicking on the link in the description or scanning the QR code on the screen in front of you. I'm personally going to be attending their event, the inaugural Upstate Pauper Open, on March 1st. You can see me there giving out token packs and cards and all sorts of stuff. So come join me there. All right, well, that is the sponsorship part of the episode. Now let's talk about the deck, Rakdos Dredge. And this is sort of a list that I built myself just because I think Chitin Gravestalker is so good. When you look at the two builds right now, there's really the more traditional build that is Golgari. In fact, I recorded that one a few months ago. You can find that in the card above. And then a few weeks ago, I faced a mono red dredge that was more just based around Sneaky Snacker and getting it into play, and then Dread Return. It was more all in. And that build felt a little too glass cannon for me, so I've come up with a hybrid list to myself where you get to play Chitin Gravestalker and Exhume, which are cards that really help you from the black side of the deck, but you still have those explosive draws from the red side using Faithless Looting and Cathartic Reunion. I personally like that, and you need those cards for Sneaky Snacker. The Golgari builds don't get to play this card because they're not actually drawing cards, they're just milling cards. So we get the best of both worlds today with this pure Rakdos list. After you've dredged enough cards and drawn enough cards, you can then Sneaky Snacker, Dread Return, Lotleth Giant, and close out the game. In the sideboard, by being Rakdos, you get access to Snuff Out against the Broodscale decks. You have Flaring Pain against Prismatic Strands. Siege Smash, I think, is one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, if I'm being completely honest with you, because you get to use the whole cow. That's a weird expression, but it fits perfectly here with Siege Smash. Split Second matters because it can destroy a Relic of Progenitus or Nihil Spellbound where they can't get to activate it. And unlike in Cycle Storm, you're not an instant speed deck. So the Split Second part really does matter. And then the Destroy Target Artifact, obviously getting rid of the problematic artifact is important. And then the last ability, the +3/+2 in Trample, matters when you're often beating down with Chitin Gravestalker or Troll of Khazad-dûm. And one really sweet thing about this build, in my opinion, is that you're playing Oliphant, which can pump your other creatures, like your Scrapwort Mutt or Voldaren Epicure. So this deck list has a lot of synergy in it. Breath Weapon is obviously for your red decks, and so is Golgari Brownscale that you sideboard in to dredge and gain life, which is really cool. You don't actually cast it, you're just there to dredge it. And that is my short and sweet deck tech. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, support us. But that's all I've got for now. I hope to see you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match where we are playing Rakdos Dredge. We're on the play. Wow, this hand is very good. We will keep. We don't have a dredge creature, but I still think this is a hand that you want. You have the Exhume, so if you draw a Troll of Khazad-dûm or anything like that, or you could just cycle the Gravestalker and put that into play. There's a lot of things to like about this. We'll play our basic Swamp and pass the turn. It's also worth noting, as of last night, Magic Online said that they believe that they fixed the lag issues, so we shouldn't be lagging much if at all today. We draw Faithless Looting. I think I'm going to play Mountain and pass the turn. I might cycle the Chitin Gravestalker and then Exhume it, just because we're so far away from just casting it normally. Interesting, no turn 2 play. You know what, I'll hang on to it then. Ooh, Stinkweed Imp. Let's play Scrapwork Mutt, and we will discard the Stinkweed Imp. And now we'll dredge. And then let's Faithless Looting. Ooh, it resolved. Discard Stinkweed Imp and Troll of Khazad-dûm. Pass the turn. They play another land. We will draw and then dredge. We get a Dread Return and a Lotleth Giant. We'll bring back the Scrapwork Mutt. Discard Stinkweed Imp. And dredge. Pretty full graveyard now. Let's go to combat. Get in there. They scred on the new Scrapwork Mutt. Okay. Post-combat, I'll play a land. And let's try Exhume. Do you have Spell Pierce? It has to be Spell Pierce here. They don't. Let's bring back the Lotleth Giant. So they're going to take a bunch of damage here, and now we have a 6/5. Deck looking pretty good in game number 1 so far. They play land number 4. Murmuring Mystic. Okay, so that can eat up my Scrapwork Mutt, which isn't great, but my Giant is big enough where it can put them to 3 if they don't block it. We're not in a bad spot here. Also, if I could dredge over another Lotleth Giant, we could combo kill with the Dread Return next turn. I do not have a dredge creature, so we can't dredge. Dragon Breath. Dragon Breath was actually a good draw here. Let's play Cathartic Reunion, and we'll discard the Dragon Breath and the Stinkweed Imp. And what's nice about this is that I can then play the Chitin Gravestalker and put the Dragon Breath on it. That I hit another Lotleth Giant, I did. So I'll play the Chitin Gravestalker, and our opponent just immediately concedes. The deck felt so good there. Wow. That was impressive. So now the question is, do you want Siege Smash? And I think you're supposed to board in some number. I'll board in 3 to start, just because I don't know if they actually have anything. And I'll board out the 2 Oliphants and maybe the Dragon Breath. We'll give this a go. Good hand. We will keep Island into Ponder. Sure. So my game plan here is that on turn 1, we'll play Geothermal Bog. On turn 2, we'll play Swamp and a Scrapwork Mutt, probably discarding the Sneaky Snacker. And then on turn 3, you can Faithless Looting and get back the Snacker. Dread Return. We'll play the Bog, like I said, and pass the turn. Mountain. And Relic of Progenitus. So I'm less confident about that Sneaky Snacker play now. Play the Swamp and pass. So I think what I would like to do here is that we will cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm on the end step. And then next turn, I can Scrapwork Mutt, and they'd have to pop the Relic if they want to get rid of the Snacker. End step, they Brainstorm. And now in the upkeep, they cycle Lorien Revealed. Island into Ponder, sure. On the end step, we will cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm. Grab that basic Swamp. They use the Relic, sure thing. We draw Exhume. We'll play the Swamp. We'll play Scrapwork Mutt. Discard Sneaky Snacker. And now we'll Faithless Looting, which will trigger the Snacker to come home. Okay, so I think I'm going to discard Mountain Giant, because then next turn I can play an Exhume and try to get the Relic off the table. Pass the turn. Land number 4. And a Brainstorm. If I could draw another Troll of Khazad-dûm, it would be my best draw in the deck. We only have 3 left. But the nice part about Exhume, the nice thing about Troll of Khazad-dûm is that when you play Exhume, it says each player returns a creature, it doesn't target. So they could remove your graveyard, and then you let the exile effect happen, and then you cycle your Troll of Khazad-dûm, and then the Exhume resolves. So it's a nice little trick you can play. Cathartic Reunion. We'll play a land, go to combat, swing. They'll take 4, and we'll try Exhume. See if this will get them to activate the Relic. Ooh, they just let that happen. Really? That is bold. I'm a little surprised. We will pass the turn. Do you have a Scred for 5? Is that why? Or is it a bounce spell here? I'm trying to make sense of that play. Ooh, Cast into the Fire. That was a great card here. Okay. They could have played that in response and then used the Relic and gotten everything. Interesting decision from the opponent. So they must have a Scred in hand. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Tolarian Terror, okay. 4 mana. They're giving me a window for another Reanimate effect here. We'll exile the Exhume. Troll of Khazad-dûm. We're going to have a good turn here. Let's start with an attack. We'll swing. They take it down to 10. I would like to cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm. We'll grab a Swamp. Play Mountain. And then we'll Exhume. Get back the Troll of Khazad-dûm. And now I'll Cathartic Reunion, discarding the Dread Return in the Swamp. This will trigger the Sneaky Snacker. That was a good turn. We will pass. It's worth noting that the Murmuring Mystic makes flying 1/1 creatures, so the Sneaky Snacker isn't going to be able to get through these creatures. We've seen a third of our library, and we have not found a Siege Smash, which is a card I'm definitely interested in. They play land number 6. 4 mana for another Murmuring Mystic. Wow. Okay. We draw another land. I believe we have to go to combat here. And if they cast a spell to trigger the Murmuring Mystic for blockers, that's actually decent for me. We'll swing. Interesting. So you're going to take 8 damage. So you'll go to 2. So the Voldaren Epicure would put them to 1. Let's play Voldaren Epicure. They go to 1 life. We'll play Stinkweed Imp. And player land. I will now pass the turn. So they're probably going to crack the Relic on the end step. Maybe not. I mean, I expected them to. I don't know if I agreed with how they played the last turn, but I also don't have all of the information. Because I would have traded with the Sneaky Snacker and then used the Tolarian Terror to get rid of the Lotleth Giant, but I don't know what's in their hand. Hardcast Lorien revealed. Okay. So they can't block the Troll of Khazad-dûm with 1 creature, so they have to play a spell here. They cycle a Lorien revealed. You've already played a land, so you're just dead on board to the Scrapwork Mutt? Oh, I guess they haven't played a land. My bad. Interesting. So they're going to let me use the Scrapwork Mutt, and we drew the Siege Smash. So they're dead a number of ways. We will go to combat. Blue Elemental Blast on my Voldaren Epicure. Sure. Siege Smash, the alternative mode here, is going to close out the game, which is kind of sweet. Alright, so what is the funniest way to win this? I think it's probably the Sneaky Snacker. Yeah, it's got to be the Sneaky Snacker. Here we go. How about some trample damage? I've been making the Bryant Cook joke a number of times over the last few weeks, and I've just been doing a lot of combat math, getting in there. Alright, we are 1-0 to start off this Pauper League with Rakdos Dredge. That was a sweet match. I am looking forward to the next 4. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Welcome to the second match. We are on the play. This seems like a good hand we will keep. Here we have the Oliphant setting up our hand, really, because we need a mountain, and the Oliphant will provide that, and then the rest of the hand is just a broken dredge hand. Clockwork Percussionist. Okay, we'll cycle the Oliphant. Grab our mountain. I don't know how the mono-red matchup is, so this will be interesting. They swing. Voldaren Epicure. I don't think that's a card I want to play this turn, just because it's not a good use of my mana. We'll discard the Stinkweed Imp and Dredge. Pass the turn. We hit another Stinkweed Imp. That's good. They Kuldotha Rebirth, sacrificing the Clockwork Percussionist, and they reveal a Lightning Bolt. So they have 3 attackers now. They don't even play the Lightning Bolt. They play a Voldaren Epicure. Okay, I go to 18. There's 4 cards left in their hand. We'll go to draw, and then I believe we want to dredge. Double Sneaky Snacker. Hello. Let's play a Faithless Looting. Let's bring those snackers back. Dredge the Stinkweed Imp. Oh no, did I mess up? Because now I'm not drawing 3 cards in a turn. I think I messed up dredging there. Whoops. I knew that coming into the league, and then I just didn't think about it right then. That was an accident. We'll play the swamp and pass. So here we're a little bit bottlenecked on red mana. 9 creatures in the graveyard. Yeah, I definitely made a mistake there. No blocks. I'll go to 14. I think I need this Scrapwork Mutt for Dread Return. I really wish I had another mountain last turn instead of a swamp, because we'd be in a much better spot. Implement of Combustion, and another Kuldotha Rebirth. If they have a Goblin Bushwhacker, we're done, because I'm not going to be able to combat that. So I do have a Stinkweed Imp in the graveyard. I don't think I'm supposed to... Actually, last turn I dredged for the draw for the turn, so that wouldn't have done it. Alright, I am not going to dredge. We draw a Stinkweed Imp. And I will Faithless Looting with no dredge. This will bring back both the Sneaky Snackers. And I hope to draw another mountain here. Swamp. And a Scrapwork Mutt. We'll discard Stinkweed Imp, Stinkweed Imp. This will bring back the Snackers. 11 creatures in the graveyard. Going down to 9. So I could try to flash... No, I can't flashback looting. I could dredge off the Scrapwork Mutt. We'll do that. I'll play the Scrapwork Mutt. What's funny is there's only 5 swamps in the deck, and then the rest are mountains. I've just drawn a lot of the swamps. Discard Stinkweed Imp. Dredge Stinkweed Imp. 11 creatures in graveyard. I'd have to live another turn. Play the swamp. And I just have to pass the turn. I don't have a choice. So I have to hope they don't have a Goblin Bushwhacker. That's really all I can do here. I can block 2 of the 7 creatures and take 5. And they don't have a Goblin Bushwhacker. We'll block the Voldaren Epicure. So if I take 6, I go to 8. They would need to kill me from 8 with 5 cards in hand. So like land triple lightning bolt effect could do it. But I'm already dead if I... Like it has to be exactly 8. I'm already dead to 9. They don't have Metalcraft for Galvanic Blast. So I guess Galvanic Blast double lightning bolt kills me. So that would be a reason to block twice. Alright, we'll block twice then. Okay. So we have 13 creatures in graveyard. I could dredge. The question is, am I supposed to? Probably, because I can play 2 creatures from hand for Dread Return. Interesting, I hit Dragon's Breath. Or, I keep on saying it plural. It's just Dragon Breath. So, I can play Stinkweed Imp. And now they need to kill a Sneaky Snacker. And they will. Play Voldaren Epicure. And now they have to play another burn spell. Or else they're dead. And they do. I'll pass the turn. So we can block 2 of the 5 creatures, so I'll take 3. Which means that I'll be at 6 life, putting me dead to double lightning bolt. I'm also dead to a Goblin Bushwhacker. No, I would go to 1 against the Goblin Bushwhacker. 2 mana here. And it is Goblin Bushwhacker, so that's only going to put me to 1. So unless they have land plus another thing post-combat or Fire Blast. A lot of lists don't even play Fire Blast anymore. So this is 8. And they don't have the land. Okay, so we have 2 Sneaky Snackers in the graveyard. We will not dredge, because I need the draw. Dread Return. So I could just hardcast Dread Return here, and that would also get the job done. They have no blockers. Play Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant. This will trigger Dragon Breath, and then we can attack for lethal. Sweet. That was a cool one. Alright, we'll bring in the Golgari Brownscale, and then Breath Weapon. So a lot of cards coming in. You could probably get rid of Oliphant. It's not good against Galvanic Blast decks, so that's an easy 2 out. And with this game plan, you're kind of saying I can't afford to bring in Siege Smash. And you have to play through their copies of Relic of Progenitus if they even have them. We need 4 more cuts. Part of me wonders if it should be Sneaky Snackers. It's just like the Sneaky Snacker stuff is really good against grindy matchups, but a card that's tough to get into play that only has 1 toughness that comes into play tapped is kind of difficult. So I think I want to try this. Yeah, we'll go for this. I understand a turn 1 relic is going to be very good against me. They've taken a mulligan, we will keep Basic Mountain and Relic of Progenitus. Why would it be anything else? Alright. We have a Lotleth Giant. I think I'm going to just pass the turn. I don't need to Faithless Looting into this thing. Not yet, at least. Goblin Tomb Raider. Well, it looks like they're stuck on 1 land. That's a slight benefit for me here. Another mountain. You know what? I will play the Faithless Looting. I should have waited on the land in case I hit um, another Faithless Looting, because it would have been better, but I didn't. But I should have waited to play my land. I'll get rid of the Faithless Looting to the Relic. So now in their main phase, they can use the Relic to exile one of the Golgari Brown Scales, and then I can dredge the other. And they just popped the Relic. Okay. Ah, they drew land number 2. That hurts. Oh, well, they have another Relic. Double Relic. You're not a nice person. We'll play the Geothermal Bog because I can't do anything else. Experimental Synthesizer. They reveal a Lightning Bolt. And instead they play Clockwork Percussionist. So they're valuing the Percussionist more than the ability to Lightning Bolt me. Okay, so I'll take 3 down to 13. I could cycle the Chitin Gravestalker. My problem with doing so is that they can exile it with the Relic, and I can't even Dread return it. Oh, well, you had the Mountain in hand. Interesting. So you've drawn running lands. I'm at 10. Faithless Looting. Let's play it. Oh, I guess I can't play it off of a swamp. We'll fix that. Looting. I will discard Stinkweed Imp and a Dread return. Play my land. We'll pass. Exile the Faithless Looting. I have to start being worried about my life total at this point, just because once you're at 10, they can do a lot of damage with just burns. So I need to Breath Weapon just to keep my life total up here. Come on, play a haste creature or 2. They do not. They swing. I'll play Breath Weapon. They get the trigger from the Clockwork Percussionist. It's their 4th land. They use the Experimental Synthesizer. Implement of Combustion. And they play the Implement. So they're going to give me a turn with Stinkweed Imp. We will dredge. Breath Weapon. And that's it. Hoping for something a little bit better there, because I'm 1 mana short of playing the Chitin Gravestalker now. Play the land. We'll play Stinkweed Imp as a blocker. I was really hoping to hit a large creature that I could target with the Dread return while they were tapped out. They use the Implement of Combustion. I will go to 9. They have 5 cards in their hand. This deck is so good at keeping up with card advantage. Seal of Fire. They target my Stinkweed Imp. And they attack. I will go to 7. Another Seal of Fire. Am I allowed to dredge? I am. Okay. Scrapwork Mutt and a Faithless Looting. So I believe the Chitin Gravestalker would cost 3 now. We'll play the Graves. Hold on. I guess it costs... I thought Scrapwork Mutt cost for artifact and creature, and then Chitin Gravestalker, but I guess it's not how it works. It says it costs 4. We'll bring back the Scrapwork Mutt. Exile Mountain. We'll discard Stinkweed Imp, dredge. And now the Chitin Gravestalker will only cost 1. So this will trigger the Dragon Breath. And we'll bring back the other copy of Scrapwork Mutt. I'm going to get rid of the Dread return. I just don't see it being very helpful. Alright, so now I'm 1 mana away from hardcast Lotleth Giant. I'll attack for 4. I have to leave back the Chitin Gravestalker. Just being at 7 life, it's too low. In their upkeep, they use the Relic. I'll exile Basic Swamp. Implement of Combustion, so that would put me to 6. And the Festivities. Okay. So now I'm at 5. They Seal of Fire me down to 3, and now I'm dead to a Lightning Bolt. They have 1 card left, and it's a Lightning Bolt. So exact damage. Okay. Do I want to bring in Relic? Or I'm sorry, bring in Siege Smash for Relic. They mulligan to it, so maybe I do. I guess I could board out the Dragon Breath. And then what if I skimmed on the Lotleth Giant stuff? Is that crazy? Maybe I'll cut 1 Stinkweed Imp instead, because I boarded in 3 additional dredgers, so maybe this will be fine. On the play. Wow, very good. We will keep. Play Basic Mountain, pass the turn. They have Mountain and Implement of Combustion, so not a turn 1 Relic of Progenitus. We draw another Mountain. I'll play Scrapwork Mutt. Discard the Golgari Brown Scale, and then I'll dredge it up to 22 life. We hit another Scrapwork Mutt. That was pretty good. We'll pass the turn. They play land number 2, Goblin Tomb Raider, and the Festivities to kill my Scrapwork Mutt. So this will bring me down to 21. The attack will bring me down to 19. Draw for turn. Exhume! Let's play Cathartic Reunion. I'll discard Stinkweed Imp and Golgari Brownscale. We'll dredge the Brownscale, dredge Stinkweed Imp, dredge Stinkweed Imp. I gain 2 back up to 21. Play my land, pass the turn. I do not have a black mana right now to play this Exhume. And they have Relic of Progenitus. That's really tough for me here. They sacrifice the Implement of Combustion and a land. Okay, so I will take 2 down to 19. We dredged over 2 copies of Siege Smash too. No dredge. I drew my swamp. So I could try to Exhume here. I just don't think it's a good idea in the face of the Relic. I'm going to flashback Faithless Looting. No dredge. No dredge. Get rid of Dread Return and Stinkweed Imp. Play my land, pass the turn. My best odds of winning this game are finding one of the remaining Siege Smashes, so that's what I'm going to go for. They Lightning Bolt me down to 16. I would also take a Breath Weapon. Like, that's another good find off of Faithless Looting. They play Implement of Combustion, and they're going to use it. This is an attack for 5. I'll be at 10. We'll draw for turn. I'm not going to dredge. We'll exile a mountain. No dredge. We draw another. I will play Faithless Looting. No dredging. We find Breath Weapon. Discard mountain and the Brownscale. Play the land and pass. They draw up to 3 cards. They swing. I will play Breath Weapon. They exile my graveyard. Yep. We're not in the world's worst spot here, because I have Stinkweed Imp as a blocker, and then if they kill it, I can dredge into Exhumes. Another land. We'll play the Stinkweed Imp. Land for turn, pass. They're about to draw up to their 3rd card in hand, which is apparently a land, but that land turns on Galvanic Blast. They're going to swing in. I'll block. They Galvanic Blast me down to 6. And now they get the trigger from Percussionist, which is a experimental synthesizer. Yep. Yeah, which reveals a Voldaren Epicure. Those were 2 very good reveals. So now I'm at 5. They have 1 card in hand. We drew our 7th land. Oh, 14 land deck. That's 50% of my lands, on top of the fact that I discarded 1 earlier, and then I've seen more. We'll play the Bog. I needed a live draw there. Experimental Synthesizer. Maybe I should have held the Bog. I was thinking about how I could hardcast a Lotleth Giant, but maybe if I draw a Cathartic Reunion or Faithless Looting, it's better to hold. They reveal Clockwork Percussionist to the Synthesizer. So the Synthesizer was effectively 3 cards for them here, because it was 2 cards that they got to play, which was the Voldaren Epicure plus the Clockwork Percussionist, and they get a Samurai token. This is what I mean by the fact that this deck's card advantage is just bananas. I will block the Voldaren Epicure and go to 4. So I'm dead to a Galvanic Blast. We need something here. Siege Smash I don't think is good enough. Implement of Combustion, so that will put me to 3, meaning I'm dead to any Lightning Bolt effect. So this admittedly is the one downside of playing Rakdos, is that you don't have Gnaw to the Bone. That said, our opponent had Relic both post-board games, so I don't know how good Gnaw to the Bone would have been. This puts me to 2. This puts me to 1. And it kills my Stinkweed Imp. So even if I pump my Stinkweed Imp here, I'm dead through the attack, because I have to block 1. So I guess we make our opponent make the right play, but I've lost this. So I will take 1, and now I'm at 1. I have to block 1, and then the other gets through for lethal. Yep. Brutal. I don't know if there was much I could have done there. Like, we flooded pretty hard. Our opponent had double Relic. Game 2. Game 3. Things just didn't go our way, and sometimes that happens. But we're now 1-1. There's still 3 more matches left. Let's just focus on winning those. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. On the play for match number 3, let's go. Still very excited about this deck. I think we have something real here. So this hand is quite incredible. I just need to draw into some sort of large creature, and we have a Faithless Looting to help with that. Well, I didn't. We'll discard 2 lands. Pass the turn. Twisted Landscape. So this is probably Broodscale combo. Another looting. I'll play the Voldaren Epicure. Make a blood token. Player land. Pass the turn. On the end step, they use Twisted Landscape. They grab a mountain. Not what I expected. And a swamp for an Ichor Wellspring. So this could be Jund Wildfires, maybe? We have a Sneaky Snacker. Let's use the blood token. We'll discard the Sneaky Snacker. And now we'll Faithless Looting. This triggers the Snacker to come home. Discard Troll of Khazad-dûm and... Do I need triple Exhume? I don't know what the right call is here. It's either Exhume 3 or land 4. I think I'm going to go land 4, but it might be greedy. Play my land. We'll attack for 1. Hiya. Okay. So they have a plant token now. Stinkweed Imp. We'll go to combat. Swing, swing. Play Exhume. Okay, things are looking decent. They still have 7 cards in hand. They did not play a spell! Wow. I think the Colony Garden is a tip that it could be Broodscale combo. But they got the 1 mountain because it's Twisted Landscape, so they're probably playing Writhing Chrysalis. And that's the reason they're Jund. And there's the Writhing Chrysalis. We draw another land that's actually kind of good here. We'll flashback Faithless Looting. Get rid of Stinkweed Imp. And Dread Return, player land. And I think I want to hold back the Voldaren Epicure here because it could block infinite Writhing Chrysalis. Swing. Interesting. They're going to block the Golgari Grave Troll. Not what I expected. Wait, this thing has reach? I never realized. Wow. I did not realize that Writhing Chrysalis had reach. It's never come up. Yeah, you got it. Ah, that's awkward. I don't play decks where I often have flying creatures, so that's probably why. This creature really does do it all. Holy moly. Pass the turn. So if they did have a Sadistic Glee here, they would need another Eldrazi spawn to go infinite because they blocked with the ones that they had. And there's a Rumble. So this will give them another Eldrazi spawn. But they actually didn't hit a single card with the Malevolent Rumble there. They hit a Cast Down, which is surprising, because if they are Sadistic Glee, you typically don't play Cast Down in the main deck. So this might just be Jund mid-range. End step, we will cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm, grab a basic Swamp, draw for turn, I will dredge Stinkweed Imp. We hit a Gravestalker, but no Lotleth Giant. We'll play the land. Let's play Exhume. Bring back Troll of Khazad-dûm. And I will Exhume again. And you might be saying, why are you doing this in your first main phase? That is because if I attack and my opponent blocks with 3 creatures, it means that then post-combat they get another Writhing Chrysalis back, and I don't want that to happen. They're going to take 6 here, going to 9. I will pass the turn. Another Malevolent Rumble. This time finds 2 basic lands and an Ichor Wellspring. We have not seen either half of the Broodscale combo yet. They make a mana, 4 mana, for an Ardent Elementalist, really? I know a thing or two about that card, but surprised to see it here. They pick up a Cast Down, because now they can play it off of the Swamp and the Eldrazi spawn. So this is definitely like a Jund mid-range deck. We'll draw for turn. I'm not going to attempt any Dread shenanigans. We'll play Faithless Looting. This will trigger the Sneaky Snacker. And we hit Lotleth Giant. Discard Giant and Stinkweed Imp. our good friend, the Sneaky Snacker, will come back. I will flashback Faithless Looting. Dredge. Dredge. Discard the pair of Stinkweed Imps. Play a Chitin Gravestalker. And I don't even have to attack to win here. Just Dread Return on Lotleth Giant will do it. But I think you should attack. Swing, swing. So they'll take 6 down to 3. Oh no, my bad. You can cast down the Troll of Khazad-dûm. Yep. So they're not going to take anything. But they're still dead to the Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant. Here we go. For 15. Boom! That was sweet. I believe we want our Siege Smashes. Once again, Oliphant is just like the card that comes out the most often. So I think, yeah, it's nice in your Exhume package, but something has to go. And Oliphant is usually the weakest card. Maybe get rid of Breath Weapon in a post-board game. It's also like a grindier matchup, so you might not need the haste. The last cut. 1 Dread Return. We'll try this. Interesting hand. We'll give this a go, I think. I don't love double Lotleth Giant, but I do like the fact that I have Siege Smash. They play Geothermal Bog. Well, I'll play a Geothermal Bog. Basic Forest. Into Rumble. They hit a basic Swamp off that. Ooh, that was a good draw. We'll play Scrapwork Mutt. Discard the Lotleth Giant. And another Siege Smash. They play Eviscerator's Insight. 8 cards in hand. Maybe looking for a land here. They play a Haunted Mire. We'll play our Swamp. Play Exhume, bringing back the Lotleth Giant. They don't take anything. And then we'll play the Voldaren Epicure. And what's interesting is now I can use the Siege Smashes. I can talk. And then just use those to close out the game as combat tricks. They're at 17. We have 9 power on board and 6 in hand. So we're 2 damage short of lethal. Land number 4. Gurmag Angler. Okay. So they might be expecting our creatures to trade, but Siege Smash might be telling a different story. A 3rd copy of Siege Smash. Love that. Get in there. Oh, friend. You're about to get blown out. +3, +2 in trample. Go to damage. So they would take 7 here. Now they play Defile. And I get to play another Siege Smash. Yeah, this works. My creature will not die, thank you. They go to 10 and will pass. Conley Garden. Okay. So they have another blocker. It looked like they were trying to cast a Writhing Chrysalis there and then thought twice. Ichor Wellspring. And they're going to pass the turn holding open removal. So I don't know if I love the idea here of using Siege Smash to trample over. I feel like that's just asking for you to get blown out. So we'll just allow the damage to happen. They go to 7. Let's use the blood token to discard Lotleth Giant. Stinkweed Imp. I will play Faithless Looting. Discard Stinkweed Imp and Looting. Yeah, I think those are the 2. So I could Exhume right now. They would get back their Gurmag Angler, and they would only take like 1 damage off the Lotleth Giant, so I don't think it's worthwhile. I'd rather wait. They play Basic Swamp for turn. Ardent Elementalist, so this can get back to File. Sure. They're 1 swamp short of that being lethal for the Lotleth Giant. We'll dredge Stinkweed Imp. 3 now in the graveyard. I will Scrapwork Mutt with Unearth. We can then discard the Stinkweed Imp to put more creatures in the graveyard. And then I'll dredge again. 5 creatures in the graveyard. Go to combat. Swing, swing. We also have a Dread Return, so I could Dread Return the Lotleth Giant too, and that would be lethal. They cast down on my Lotleth Giant. Okay. There's a lot of different ways we could win this. I could Siege Smash, I could Exhume, I could Dread Return. They block Scrapwork Mutt, so 3 damage would come in. Okay. Post-combat, I will Exhume. So the reason I didn't go for a Siege Smash is, what if my opponent had Snuff Out in hand, and I play Siege Smash on some creature, and they snuff it out in response, and then they end up at like 1? I think the Exhume line is just the safest. And now they die. You can have your cast down back, but you have to take lethal. And we get the match. So now we're 2-1 with 2 more matches left to go. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Match number 4, we're on the draw. I will keep because we have turn 2 Troll of Khazad-dûm. That's what I'm here for. Let's go. Also, once in this video, I would like to exhume an Oliphant and then pump another creature with it, because you don't get to do that too often. I think it would be pretty great. They play a turn 1 Swamp. We'll play Mountain and pass the turn. Another Swamp. Ichor Wellspring. I will cycle my Troll of Khazad-dûm in response. Grab Swamp. We draw Dragon Breath. Not your best draw here. Play the Exhume. We have a Troll of Khazad-dûm now on the battlefield. We'll pass the turn. Deadly Dispute, sacrificing Ichor Wellspring. Vault of Whispers. Shambling Gas. So this is Broodscale combo. Lotleth Giant. Plays Scrapwork Mutt. Discard Stinkweed Imp. And then we'll dredge. Go to combat. We'll swing for 6. They cannot block. They play Basic Forest. End step, we will cycle the Oliphant. They're at 14. We'll draw for turn. Another Giant. Play the land, unearth Scrapwork Mutt. We'll discard the Stinkweed Imp and dredge. We hit Dread Return. Scrapwork Mutt again. Discard Stinkweed Imp, dredge. That's 10 creatures in the graveyard. So if I swing out, they can block and then -1/-1, and then I can't Dread Return. So I think it's actually best to Dread Return pre-combat. We'll sacrifice these 3. Maybe I should have played this Scrapwork Mutt instead of the one from the graveyard, because it would have been 1 more damage. But I don't know if 1 damage is the difference maker here. And now Troll of Khazad-dûm attacks. They Deadly Dispute, which doesn't keep them alive. As far as I know, if they're on a stock build, there's nothing that keeps them alive here. Oh, I guess they could draw into Dumbo Tameo Safekeeping? Or no, 1 Tameo Safekeeping could have done it, because the troll got -1. But I don't know if Tameo Safekeeping says any creature or creature you control. So that would have been interesting. We want Snuff Out. That was a sweet win, by the way. Turn 4. We'll get rid of Oliphant. And maybe a couple copies of Voldaire and Epicure. Submit. Our deck definitely did its thing there. Interesting hand. You have the Snuff Out, but the problem is you only have 1 land. You don't have any black mana either. I really want to keep this, but I think you're supposed to mulligan. This hand is even worse, I suppose. We'll bottom Swamp and Swamp. I mean, it's not terrible. It's a turn 2 Troll of Khazad-dûm with Snuff Out backup. Play the Mountain, pass the turn. They grab Basic Swamp. Twisted Landscape. Ichor Wellspring. I will cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm. Grab our Basic Swamp. We find a Chitin Gravestalker. Play the Exhume. We'll get back our Troll. I mean, this is a good hand right now. Not bad for a mulligan to 5. Deadly Dispute. Sacrificing the Ichor Wellspring. Ooh, they missed their 3rd land. They discard Mesmeric Fiend and Shambling Ghast. We draw Sneaky Snacker. Let's play Scrapwork Mutt, discarding the Snacker. And if I draw Faithless Looting, we could theoretically play it, or get it back. But I did not. Swing for 6. They play a Rumble. They find Indir's Nightblade, Basic Forest, and a Twisted Landscape. I guess that they take the Forest here. They do. They play the Forest. Ooh. So I had hit F6. If I wasn't F6'd, I would have played Snuff Out on the Eldrazi spawn. That's my bad. I didn't expect a discard spell there. So if I lose this game because of it, it's my own fault. We'll swing. They play Tameo Safekeeping on the spawn. So I guess even if I had played the Snuff Out, they had the answer to it. But then they couldn't have blocked this turn, so maybe it does matter. Because they would be at 8, and that means that they couldn't block next turn. We'll pass. Do you have the win? That's a Basking Broodscale. Sadistic Glee. So they have infinite colorless mana right now. They play Ichor Wellspring and pass the turn. So my Troll of Khazad-dûm cannot be blocked. We draw a land. I'm going to cycle my Chitin Gravestalker, see if I can draw into something here. We draw another land. Ugh. Not great. So if I cycle here, my Sneaky Snacker will come back. Dragon Breath doesn't help me. So if I swing with the Stinkweed Imp and Troll of Khazad-dûm, which I don't know if is a good idea or not, but if I did, they go to 4, so even if they block Troll next turn, I'd have enough flying in the air to win. But I drew the Dragon Breath, so I think it's better to hold back 2 blockers and just hope that they don't have the Nadir's Nightblade. So based on them being at 4 versus 2, it looks like the accidental F6 wasn't super relevant. So you have infinite mana, Eviscerator's Insight, sure. Surprised that they sacrificed the Eldrazi spawn and not the Ichor Wellspring there. Just because I would have wanted the extra card. They have another Swamp, Mesmeric Fiend, so that takes the Dragon Breath. So I lose lethal that way. We draw another land. I just want to think through this. Hypothetically, let's say I swing out. They have to block Troll of Khazad-dûm. So they'd have to use 3 creatures to do so, and then it's lethal. I mean, I could be wrong, but this looks like lethal to me. Unless they have another Tamiyo Safekeeping. Hold on. Am I supposed to respect another Tamiyo Safekeeping? Would make sense for a card for them to have. But then they could just untap and draw a bunch of cards. You know what? I'm going to swing out. I think my odds are actually worse if I hold back. If you have the Safekeeping, you have the Tamiyo Safekeeping. Go to damage. Did you board in? Oh, they did have the Tamiyo Safekeeping. Oh, I guess it's target permanent you control. So I get the answer of that. And now I'm dead on board. Okay. So I think I was in a tough spot there because if I pass, they get to play 3, they have access to 3 black mana. And then they just have, you know, a bunch of draw spells they can play. They still have an Insight in the graveyard. I think it was best to go for it. Obviously it didn't work, but I do think it was the correct choice. I'm going to resubmit the same configuration. Also, like, we put up a really good fight for a mulligan to 5. On the play for game 3. We have Snuff Out. I have a Looting. We'll try this. It might not end up being great, but I want to try it. Play Geothermal Bog. We'll pass. Swamp. Play Faithless Looting. Discard Dragon Breath. Actually, Sneaky Snacker and Lotleth Giant. Play the Mountain. Let's Faithless Looting. Discard Giant and Stinkweed Imp. This triggers the Sneaky... Oh no, I already drew 3 cards. My bad. So next turn I can Cathartic Reunion, discarding Dragon Breath plus Dread Return. And then I have Stinkweed Imp to dredge with. We'll dredge Stinkweed Imp. Alright, so I guess I forgot about the fact that I need to discard the Stinkweed Imp. So it's Dread Return versus the Dragon Breath. And I think with 2 more Dread Returns in the deck, maybe I should do... I suppose I'm not going to put the... There's no real way for me to put Dread Return this turn, so maybe I should just hold the Dragon Breath. We'll discard the Dread Return. Dredge, dredge, and pass the turn. Okay, so we have a pretty thick graveyard right now. What I need is more lands, but also creatures. A Deadly Dispute, Only Garden. We'll draw for turn. It's a land. That's good. Flashback Faithless Looting, I think. No point in bringing back the Scrapwork Mutt now when I can't Dread Return. Ooh, Exhume was good. Discard Dragon Breath and Stinkweed Imp. The Sneaky Snacker will return. Pass. I have 9 creatures in the graveyard. I'm trying to think if there's a way where I can combo win with Exhume back a Giant, sacrifice the Giant and Scrapwork Mutt to Dread Return back another Lotleth Giant, because we have triple Giant in the graveyard, but I would have to draw another land for that to work. Shambling Gasteer is probably going to trip that up a little bit, assuming that they have like a Deadly Dispute effect. I don't think I need to dredge anymore. I'll just draw a card. Another Sneaky Snacker. Interesting. I think I'm going to play Scrapwork Mutt from hand, and I'll discard Sneaky Snacker. No dredge. We draw another. Go to combat. Poke them for 2. End step, they make 2 black mana. and they Deadly Dispute. And they're going to give a creature... Nope, they're going to make a treasure. Okay. Another Deadly Dispute, sacrificing Ichor Wellspring. So they've seen over 33% of their deck now. Malevolent Rumble. This finds Mesmeric Fiend, Basking Broodscale. So they have half of the combo. They play another Shambling Ghast. I'm not going to dredge. We draw the land I needed. That was perfect. We will Scrapwork Mutt, discard Sneaky Snacker, and I think I will dredge. We have 12 creatures in the graveyard now. Play Exhume, Lotleth Giant. They get to Mesmeric Fiend, but honestly, that doesn't even matter here. So they'll take a bunch of damage off the Lotleth Giant, and now I can Dread Return on another Lotleth Giant, sacrificing these 3 creatures. This deck feels very good. They would have to gain 6 life to stay alive here. Maybe they boarded in Weather the Storm and now they're trying to cast spells? I'm not sure. They go to -5 and we win the match. We're now 3-1 with 1 match left to go. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? The final match. We're on the draw. I will keep this hand. It's quite good. And let's see what our opponent's up to today. A bridge. Okay. Geothermal Bog. We will pass the turn. Mountain. Cleansing Wildfire. So we're likely facing the Jund Wildfires deck here. They grab a basic Swamp. We draw another Mountain. We will play Scrapwork Mutt and discard the Sneaky Snacker. Looting was a very good draw, because that allows me next turn to return the Sneaky Snacker and possibly even play a Chitin Gravestalker. They grab their forest here and play a bridge. They still have 6 cards in hand. Blood Fountain. Another looting. I'm going to start off with the looting because there is Dragon Breath in the deck, so theoretically you could put a large thing into play. We'll discard Stinkweed Imp and the Lotleth Giant. The Snacker will come back. I'll play my Mountain. Let's Faithless Looting, Dredge, discard Stinkweed Imp, and I actually didn't hit a whole lot of creatures there. I think I'll get rid of the Geothermal Bog. So there's 2 creatures in the graveyard. We'll go to combat, swing for 2. Play Voldaren Epicure. They're at 17, pass. Deadly Dispute, sacrificing Blood Fountain. And now a Writhing Chrysalis, which, by the way, I've learned has reach. Okay. So I will not make that mistake again here. We will dredge the Stinkweed Imp. We now have 5 creatures in the graveyard. Let's use the blood token to discard the Stinkweed Imp. Dredge. Still 6 creatures in the graveyard. That was really bad. We'll play another Voldaren Epicure. They'll go to 16. We'll play a Chitin Gravestalker. I will pass the turn. So you could have tried to dredge again with the blood token, but even if I hit 5 creatures, which, you know, hasn't happened yet, it would not be lethal. So I'd rather just take a turn off and play out a pretty large creature. Our opponent plays an Ichor Wellspring. They have plenty of mana here. Fanatical Offering, sacrificing the Ichor Wellspring. They have 9 cards in their hand. I do know that a lot of these deck lists are playing 1 to 2 main deck copies of Nile Spellbomb, which is something they might be digging for here. Refurbished Familiar. I'll gladly discard Stinkweed Imp, thank you. So one thing that I found when trying to brew for Pauper is that Refurbished Familiar is a real tension with the format, because a lot of the brews that I try to play, you lose to mono red, or the Refurbished Familiar makes it so you discard too many cards. These sort of things. But Cycle Storm and Reanimator or Dredge tend to reward for this card. So I've liked playing those decks just because you don't care as much about Refurbished Familiar. We dredge, we hit 1 more creature. Ay. I have a number of Faithless Lootings. I actually have all 4 in there, but I can't dredge if I play it. So I'm going to use the blood token. We'll discard Stinkweed Imp, dredge it again. Now we have 10. And I hit a Scrapwork Mutt. That was good. We'll bring back the Scrapwork Mutt. And I hit a second Lotleth Giant. So I can actually double Dread Return right now. Dredge the Stinkweed Imp. 11 creatures. Dread Return on Lotleth Giant. Sacrifice the Epicures and Scrapwork Mutt. The Lotleth Giant triggers, so does the Dragon Breath. And then another Dread Return on the other Lotleth Giant. Sweet. -11. Good life total. Okay, so we probably want Siege Smash here. Once again, Oliphant, it's one of the easiest cards to sideboard out. I do think you want it in the main deck. Just because you have a card that you tend to side out a lot doesn't mean that it doesn't belong. At some point, something has to give. Something has to be the card that is boarded out. And I think Oliphant makes sense. It's just we don't necessarily need it for post-board games. And then I think I'll board out 2 copies of Voldair and Epicure. 25 creatures in the deck. So we do have a lot of creatures. It's just, you know, I haven't been hitting them. And I just boarded down 4, so there's actually 29. I say that because I felt like I struggled to get creatures in my graveyard that game. The old 5-lander. Really a 6-lander with Troll of Khazad-dûm. They've kept 7. What I like about this hand is you could just go beat down the old-fashioned way, and you're not weak to duress or snuff out. I'm going to try it. I'm sure somebody's just like, why would you keep this? It's so bad. But I think when you think about how this matchup is likely to play out, it's secretly just fine. Like, they're a deck that does play duress. You have lands. We're a deck that only plays 14 lands. So every mulligan you have, you run the risk of not hitting a land as you continue to mulligan. And the fact that theoretically you can just cast Chitin Gravestalker for 4 mana at some point, it's not bad. Alright, drawing land number 6 was not ideal, I will admit. Basic Forest. Into Lembas. Sure. Sneaky Snacker. I'll play Swamp and pass the turn. They play a Swamp. And Deadly Dispute. Sure. Look at that. They played Duress. Who needs spells when you've got nothing but lands? Am I right? Am I right? Ah, genius. That's just good deck building. Our opponent put an LOL in chat. I agree. Yeah. We'll play Mountain and let's play the Faithless Looting. Cathartic Reunion and another land. We'll get rid of Sneaky Snacker and Mountain. Pass the turn. Land number 4. Into Writhing Chrysalis. Sure. They have 5 cards in their hand. We draw another Chitin Gravestalker. Let's flashback Faithless Looting. Discard Stinkweed Imp and Lotleth Giant. We'll get back our Sneaky Snacker. Play Mountain, and we will pass the turn. They play Deadly Dispute and a Cleansing Wildfire. They still have 7 cards in hand. They play Basic Mountain. Into Ichor Wellspring. Refurbish Familiar. I think I'm actually going to cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm. I don't see myself hardcasting it, so we might as well pull a land out of the deck. And then I could discard that land. And it also helps for the creature count on the Chitin Gravestalker. We'll dredge 5 creatures in the graveyard. And I hit another Sneaky Snacker. Play a land. Swing. They don't block. I have a Dread Return and a Lotleth Giant. So let's play Cathartic Reunion. Like, let's do this. Discard Stinkweed Imp and the land. So I could theoretically Dread Return this turn. Because I could play the Chitin Gravestalkers for 1. I have 10 creatures in my graveyard. I could Faithless Looting. I don't think I have another Stinkweed Imp in there, though. I don't. I dredged to start the turn. And then I dredged again 3 times. So I've not drawn a card this turn. So if I flashback Faithless Looting, I will not get back a pair of Sneaky Snackers. But what I can do is Scrapwork Mutt and then discard a Stinkweed Imp. And then dredge off of that. I have 12 creatures in the graveyard. And I have a Dragon Breath, so I could attack this turn with the Lotleth Giant. We'll play the Chitin Gravestalker. Oh no, we're in my second main phase, so I will not be able to attack. Let's Dread Return on the Lotleth Giant. So they'll take a bunch. They're at 5. We'll put the Dragon Breath on the Lotleth Giant, and I will pass the turn. So even if they had found Nile Spellbomb, we've lowered their life total a lot. We have the Dragon Breath. You know, there's still opportunity here. I'm not just stone cold dead to a Nile Spellbomb. And they're certainly looking for it here. They started this turn with Deadly Dispute, and it looks like they're going to play another one here. They do, sacrificing the Vault of Whispers. Regardless of how this match turns out, I've been very impressed by this Rakdos Dredge deck today. Obviously, we lost to Mono Red. I do think that you're not going to beat everything in... There's no deck in Magic that is unbeatable. And Mono Red happens to be very good. Just like applying pressure, creating card advantage, it does it all. But if we can figure out a way in just Rakdos colors to solve that matchup, Rakdos Dredge could be incredible. I just never loved the green build when I played it, and this build feels like everything I want outside of losing to Mono Red. They have 1 black mana left, and they play a Duress. Who plays creatures, or non-creature spells? Come on. What is Duress going to do against me? Why would you keep a hand with spells in it when you could keep 5 lands, 2 expensive creatures? We draw a Scrapwork Mutt, so that is our first draw of the turn. I would like to flash back a Faithless Looting, and I am not going to dredge or anything. I just want to put the Snackers in play. Ooh, we hit Dread Return! And now I can discard Dread Return plus Stinkweed Imp. Look at all these Snackers, feeling hungry. There's 16 cards left in my deck. Let's Cathartic Reunion, discard, discard. Dredge, dredge. And we have a giant in here somewhere, right? Up top. I will leave 5 cards left in my deck. Dread Return on Lotleth Giant. And our opponent just concedes. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle it. Rakdos Dredge, too powerful. Yeah, I loved the deck. So I think in the main deck, the flex spots are the Dragon Breath and the Oliphant. Everything else I think is pretty locked in, but I like Dragon Breath and Oliphant. I didn't get to do the pump trick that I was hoping to with the Oliphant, but I still think that when you're 14 land deck, having those additional cyclers goes a long way. And then in the sideboard, I don't know what you do to beat Mono Red. I really don't. My first list that I put together had Unexpected Fangs in it, but I was like, I don't know if that's actually reliable enough in this matchup to do what I need it to. So I decided to swap it with Golgari Broodscale after looking at the Mono Red Dredge deck where they just played a bunch of Broodscales. I don't know if you should be playing Unexpected Fangs. It feels like the Mono Red deck is very good at killing things, so I don't know if that's good enough, but this deck is really, really sweet. I hope you enjoyed the video, truly. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, support us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep storming. Hey you, yeah you, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested, you can visit theepicstorm.com/donation-decks to see your combo deck here on this very YouTube channel. You can even join me in a video in the Epic tier. It's totally worth it, I promise. And see ya. Thanks for watching.